terror of the Zygons is returning to Earth. The Doctor, Sarah Jane, and Harry arrive in the Scottish Highlands to investigate the mysterious destruction of several oil rigs in the North Sea. Local superstition speaks of a deadly threat that lurks in the midst of Tulloch Moor. But the truth is even more disturbing. The legendary Loch Ness Monster is a terrifying cyborg beast which is controlled by the Zygons, an advanced alien race who are desperate to ensure their own survival at any cost. Now, Terror of the Zygons was actually quite enjoyable. The way they first introduced the Zygons was more mysterious. Sometimes at first they kind of will just reveal the aliens or add a little mystery to it, even though you know what they are, like the Cybermen. They still added, every time they bring back the Cybermen, they added a little mystery to kind of make you think at first, maybe, what are these things? Especially if you don't know who the Cybermen are, it's like, what are these creatures? Well, since this is a brand new alien, they kind of kept to the mystery. They wanted to slowly reveal them. And like at first they show like a hand operating their own controls, and then the eyes, just the eyes, piercing eyes, just staring at a computer screen. And then the final cliffhanger of the first episode is the actual reveal. You just see this hand grab Sarah Jane, she turns around, screams, and then you see the Zygon full going to attack her. And it was a good reveal and a nice, one of the best cliffhangers for Doctor Who. And to really describe what a Zygon is, I think the 50th anniversary special described it best, which is a big red rubbery thing covered in suckers. And that's pretty much it. It's just this massive bulbous head with a body that's all the way down just red with suckers just put everywhere. I mean, you can kind of see what the image right here of what it looks like, or even on the little image right here, what a Zygon is. I don't know if you can really tell what in the back behind Harry. But yeah, it's just, that's just basically it's a giant red bulbous thing with suckers on it. And it speaks in kind of a whisperish underwater voice. And I have to admit, the first appearance of these Zygons are quite interesting, very threatening, and very, very sinister. At first, they kind of remind me of the Thing, John Carpenter and the original Thing. Particularly John Carpenter's The Thing, where the creature can imitate any life form. Although in the Zygon's case, it's mostly humans in this story. But later on in the 50th anniversary special, it kind of it adapts itself to other creatures. But for now, it was just humans. And it reminded me of The Thing, because you didn't know who was a Zygon and who was human, and it would kind of made you wonder who's who, who's what. You didn't know who to trust. Even the people you do trust, you're like, are they a Zygon? Are they human? You really didn't know. So that was really, really cool, really fun. It added a nice little tension and edge to it, particularly when in one scene a Zygon does take the form of one of the allies, one of the companions. Spoiler alert: it's Harry. Harry gets captured by the Zygons, and a Zygon becomes Harry. And throughout the episodes that we've seen Harry, he's always been the humble, nice guy. But when we see him, he becomes, especially when he's discovered, he becomes a very threatening, evil person. In fact, his eyes change. It was just creepy seeing Harry Sullivan look and act evil. He looked like something out of like a 70s or even 1990s thriller serial killer. It was just very, very eerie. It was a great performance by him, but it was just scary. I was like, wow, even for a somewhat kid show at that time, that was scary. That was well done. The overall story, let's see, the Loch Ness Monster, let's get to that. The Loch Ness Monster is something that's been taken care of. It's something that the Zygons created. It's one of their creatures. They've just been keeping it, alive, and it's been keeping them alive. And it's just one of the things that Doctor Who always does is, it's kind of a nice thing to do, is whenever there's some sort of superstitious thing or some myth or whatever that's well known around the world, Doctor Who tries to add something to it. They kind of give a science fiction explanation to it. And this was a nice science fiction explanation to the Loch Ness Monster. It was kind of funny. And the special effects for the Loch Ness Monster was not that bad. Particularly when you got to compare it to the dodgy dinosaurs of Invasion of the Dinosaurs. They really kind of stepped up with this one. There's only like one little 2-second clip of actual stop-motion animation for it, but it's not all stop-motion animation. They actually have like a puppet for one point, I think, but it's all quick shots. You don't really get to notice it that much. but the movement is smooth and it goes through fine. So it's like, you know what, for that time period, that was okay. Yes, it does look cheesy, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, that was okay for that time. You know, it wasn't too big, wasn't too crummy. You know, it was fine. So I kind of let that one slide. It was an okay, you know, special effect. The moors that they actually filmed on were very lovely. I've never been to Britain or Scotland, so I can't really say it's the Scottish Highlands. But in the documentary, they say no, it's not the Scottish Highlands. It's actually something that looks similar to it. So, and some people actually believed it at that time that it was the Scottish Highlands. But I kind of believed it because, you know, I've never been to Scotland, so I could just say, hey, it's Scottish Highlands. But I admit the environments looked very beautiful, very well, lovely. So I'm pretty sure the Scottish people kind of took it as a compliment that they took such a lovely environment and made it, you know, Scotland. The overall story was very fun. It was very good. It was a nice story of just the Zygons wanting to control the world because their world was destroyed. Again, this is up to interpretation to the Time War, because in the 50th anniversary special we learned that the Zygons had to leave their planet because of the Time War and had to come to Earth, and will later adapt it to theirs so they can you know, live on Earth. And this might be something similar to it. So again, it's up to interpretation. It could just be a different war that the Zygons crash landed onto Earth from, or it could be the Time War. Like I said, again, it's up for debate. It was nice to see units in this one. This is actually technically the last real unit story from the John Pertwee's, from like the, you know, John Pertwee era to this now. This is like the official last one. After this one, Unit will just come in every once in a while when it's necessary. Because now the Doctor is, you know, free from his exile. He can go wherever he wants. And it was time for him to just move on. I am sad that Unit is gone. Not gone, but no longer a main cast. It is sad to see them gone. You know, it was a family. It was a huge family. I'm going to miss them. I love Sergeant Benton, the Brigadier, Henry Yates, you know, all of them. It's going to be sad to miss them all. But at the same time, it is good to see them leave, because now the Doctor can do what he usually used to do, which is go off to great vast lands and save people, solve problems, and do all that, which is what Doctor Who really is. But I am glad that Unit does come back periodically, because it would be nice to see it. You know, it's like seeing old family again. You want to visit them and see them again. Overall, I did really enjoy this story. The one thing that really made me sad, not only because of Unit leaving, but this is the last Harry Sullivan story. I was very sad to see him go. I really liked Harry. He was a nice, humble British guy who was also a hero, not like the action hero, but just a hero that was like the everyman. And I kind of connected with him. It was just sad to see him go. It was just like the Doctor got to say goodbye to both Unit and Harry at once, because Harry and the Brigadier were at the TARDIS, and the Doctor's going, "Let's go," and they're like, Brigadier went, "No, I'm not," and then he goes, "Harry," and Harry's like, "No, I'd rather prefer to stay inland this time." And Sarah reluctantly said yes. She was kind of wondered if she shouldn't, but then it was like, yeah, let's go, why not? So at least we got to keep Sarah Jane. We all love Sarah Jane. She is still one of the best companions, so if not the best. So, you know, it's glad to see her continue on, but at the same time it's just sad we don't get to see Harry anymore. I loved him. But at the same time, Harry, because now the Doctor is, you know, free from his exile. He can go wherever he wants. And it was time for him to just move on. I am sad that Unit is gone. Not gone, but no longer a main cast. It is sad to see them gone. You know, it was a family. It was a huge family. I'm going to miss them. I love Sergeant Benton, the Brigadier, Henry Yates, you know, all of them. It's going to be sad to miss them all. But at the same time, it is good to see them leave, because now the Doctor can do what he usually used to do, which is go off to great vast lands and save people, solve problems, and do all that, which is what Doctor Who really is. But I am glad that Unit does come back periodically, because it would be nice to see it. You know, it's like seeing old family again. You want to visit them and see them again. Overall, I did really enjoy this story. The one thing that really made me sad, not only because of Unit leaving, but this is the last Harry Sullivan story. I was very sad to see him go. I really liked Harry. He was a nice, humble British guy who was also a hero, not like the action hero, but just a hero that was like the everyman. And I kind of connected with him. It was just sad to see him go. It was just like the Doctor got to say goodbye to both Unit and Harry at once, because Harry and the Brigadier were at the TARDIS, and the Doctor's going, "Let's go," and they're like, Brigadier went, "No, I'm not," and then he goes, "Harry," and Harry's like, "No, I'd rather prefer to stay inland this time." And Sarah reluctantly said yes. She was kind of wondered if she shouldn't, but then it was like, "Yeah, let's go. Why not?" So at least we got to keep Sarah Jane. We all love Sarah Jane. She is still one of the best companions, so if not the best. So, it's glad to see her continue on, but at the same time, it's just sad we don't get to see Harry anymore. I loved him. But at the same time, it's understandable, because if you have 2 or 3 companions with the Doctor, that means there's less Doctor time, because the Doctor's really supposed to be the one that solves everything. The companions just really assist and ask questions, although they can solve the stuff as well and actually do it themselves as aid. But if there's if there's too many characters, there's not really enough time for everybody. So it was understandable they got rid of Harry. But I wish he was in more. This story was actually quite interesting. This story was actually, kind of an interesting fact. By the time this first story aired, because Scotland was trying to attain its own independence and thus set up an oil rig in its ocean, and when the first oil barrels came inland from that oil rig, the first episode of the story aired. They found out that they were sending an oil rig up there, and came up with a story, and was like, let's use that. And the very first episode that aired, the first oil barrels came to land. So it was kind of an interesting fact. Out of 5 stars, I give this one a good solid 4 stars. It was really fun. It was fantastic. I would like to see more of the Zygons, see them well adapted. It's just maybe their computer system could be a little figured out more, because their computer system looked like a giant pizza, and the way they operated was just basically what they called breast fondling. It's the only way they could describe it. So it's like, I like to see better way of the way they operate their technology, because I kind of laugh every time that happens. And that is the beginning of Series 13 of Doctor Who. This was originally supposed to end Series 12, but they decided to move it to the beginning of Season 13. So this is the beginning of Season 13, Tom Baker's 2nd year as the Doctor, and by now you can really see he has a firm grasp of his character, and you can imagine great things for this character, and he has it held on right now. He knows what he needs to do. And I like to see what he does when he just goes out there now. No longer has ties to Unit, just goes out there. And we'll see what this rest of this season. Until next time. Almost forgot one last thing. I kind of mentioned that the Zygons kind of change into a person. I didn't really describe how they did it. And the way they did it was pretty well done. It was a nice special effect. It was that they start as a Zygon, and then it kind of fades into this kind of reddish, blobish kind of thing, and then it kind of, then the blob kind of forms into the human shape, and then it kind of fades. That red blob kind of fades into the human, the actor that's standing there. And that was pretty well done. For 1975 technology, that was a good special effect, and I had to admit I was impressed with that. So, just wanted to mention that. I completely forgot about it earlier, so just wanted to put it here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.